Thank you, gentlemen. I think they hit on a lot of the key points here. With initial reactions to the bracket, we noticed that SKT on one side of the bracket probably does have the easier run to the finals, but ultimately what that means is we could have a really sweet finals in which another very strong team coming from the other side can actually challenge them.
I feel for AHQ. I have my Jimmy's Russell. You're playing, you just got to the tiebreaker, and then you're like, all right, let's do this. Who are we gonna get? SKT, like, oh, well.
It's all about the journey, man. Last year, they go up against EDG in the tiebreaker. They lose out. This year, they win the tiebreaker. Next year, they'll get an easier first final. You know, it's all about just step-by-step progression.
It's like what I'm focusing on is the rematch of KT versus Cool. Because last time they faced against each other, Cool Tigers were down 2-0 and then came back to 2-2, and KT clinched it in the blind pick. Because I think in this kind of format, there's no blind pick in these best-of-5s. I think that's going to favor Cool Tigers in the matchup specifically because they showed that they are able to dissect teams in best-of-5s.
That being said, KT has looked exceptional in the group stages here at Worlds. The other matchup that I'm actually very interested in is the Flash Wolves versus Origin, because Origin had such a hot start, 3-0, but got a little exposed in week 2, whereas the Flash Wolves turned it on in week 2 in order to grab that #1 seed. So I actually think that's going to be a lot closer of a matchup than most people might think.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I think that if the Origin series showed one thing, it was that their bottom lane was really strong, but then couldn't necessarily snowball the rest of the map. And if there's one thing we've complimented Flash Wolves about, it's about having the strong 3 players and then being able to play around their strengths. So in this potential matchup, there is an opportunity for Flash Wolves to very much expose that weakness around the jungle and the mid lane position and try and snowball that everywhere else.
Cool thing about the draft is how Fnatic, you know, we talk about it being the Western team that could possibly take the whole thing. And, well, the contenders for the title were SKT or EDG. Now that LGD is out of the picture, it's only those two. So if they really want to take this, they're probably going to have to beat EDG right now and then SKT. So they're really going to get tested.
But it's not easy, because even if you beat EDG, you're facing KU or KT, which, again, that's not an easy task.
It's like I want to speak about Origin a little bit more, simply because there was such a huge difference between the 2 weeks. And what I'm worried about when it comes to Origin, the second week, they came in with this full AP composition, and it didn't adapt throughout the 3 games that they played. They played this full AP compositions twice, I think, and that kind of makes me worried about their adaptation in a best-of-5.
Well, there's definitely a lot of interesting matchups here. The group stages are concluded here in Paris, and after our show, we'll be picking up stakes and moving to London for the knockout stage. The quarterfinals begin next Thursday with our first best-of-5 series between the Flash Wolves and Origin. So Yamato's going to be excited for that one. Then on Friday, we'll follow as SK Telecom takes on AHQ Esports Club. Saturday, it's Europe's Fnatic versus Edward Gaming. And last but definitely not least, Sunday, KT Rolster will challenge KU Tigers for the last spot in the semi-finals. And with the first round of Worlds 2015 coming to a close, let's check in with you on Twitter, where earlier we asked, what is your favorite moment from the group stage and why? Almond Cream tweeted, balls is Penta. Even though I root for Fnatic, I have to admit, that was a really nice Penta.
The pentakill, I think, is something that you have to always celebrate, but I think if you just put your face on the keyboard, it's basically Darius.
The thing that I loved about that is how much bleed damage. That sold me on the Darius pick. Like, that AD carry literally left with like 1 auto attack and died halfway through the base.
That's where the NA pride really lasted up until that exact moment. After that, forget about week 2. We got to pour one out for North America, guys. Be with me. Take a knee.
Yeah, I'll do that with you after the show. What I loved about that Penta is that it was so much of a team effort. We talked about Cloud9 strategies throughout the tournament. Balls was the person who would fall behind, and it was really a team effort to get him back into the game, and it shows there where it could net a pentakill later in the game. Next up, we have TB Skyen, who said, my favorite thing this Worlds was seeing everyone's confident assumptions and pick'ems fall apart in the chaos of groups. And a fun little stat for you all, there are 52 out of 2.2 million pick'ems remaining perfect.
We were just
52.
Another fun
it's
stat.
not me. It's
And
not
none
me.
of them, none of them are.
What they have to do is get together in a little Skype group and cover every single possibility so that they get one right. So we'll have at least one winner. You know, bond together, use teamwork. You've seen it work in this tournament. Use it for the pick'ems.
Teamwork makes the dream work, my friends. It's just astonishing to me. 52 out of 2.2 million. That is such a small percentage. And I don't know what approach any of you took to getting that right, but you did it.
Approach.
Or the dartboard approach. But you did it, so congratulations. Finally, the doormat wrote, favorite moment? Hearing the fans get behind Dyrus and support him in his next chapter. Thank you, Dyrone. I mean, we touched on this a lot yesterday. A very emotional moment for everybody in the community, but again, his contributions to League of Legends will not be forgotten.
I wasn't on the desk yesterday, but I was actually the first competitive tournament I had, which was, I think, his third one as well, was on the same team with him on Epic Gamer. We got second place at an IPL tournament. It was a very fun experience because back then, there was no meta. Those were the good old days. I think he was playing top jungle and AD carry. Sometimes I was doing mid, bottom, and mid and top, and everybody just all over the place with Heimerdingers and Trundles.
Yeah.
Loved that time.
Whatever happened. What happened?
Yeah.
What happened?
And even better than that was a community response afterwards. Like, you know, huge AMA goes up, Twitter goes berserky, trends everywhere. Like, it was just honestly
trending
an
worldwide.
awesome moment for League of Legends and an even better moment for a great player.
I don't think there's anyone that cannot respect Dyrus for what he's done for the community, because he was so early to put all his life into the game, which inspired so many other pro players, me including, to take that step to kind of pursue that career.
A serious amount of dedication. Well, be sure to stick around for your daily download on all the big moments from today's action. Worlds Tonight is coming your way in just 15 minutes. But now, on behalf of the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week in London.